Hello, I am from Quebec in Canada, and I have a real fake French accent. Okay, that's good. You want to meet my sister? Okay, she's crazy. It's Loathsome Thing, a horror movie podcast.
Wait, she's turning into like a Mexican, like matronly Mexican lady.
She's got like some Guatemala in there. What's going on?
In my country,
No has cake.
it's good.
It's
Uh,
good.
Yes, as she was so kind to say, it's Loathsome Things, a horror movie podcast, a podcast in which two complete douchebags talk about horror movies like this horror quote movie.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably a horror movie made by a douchebag.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, with us as always is my co-host Josh. Josh, my name's John. By the way, how are you doing, sir?
I am sleepy and confused, John. I am perhaps a little undershowered. I'm sorry, my co-host John.
Yes.
And I am tickled pink by what we're watching today, especially the fun little fact nugget that this movie got remade in 2006.
I know. I was like, wait, what? First of all, why? And then second,
Why?
I mean, this is like a student film. Like this was Brian De Palma learning how to make movies by only watching Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Yes. Yeah. It's Sisters, by the way. The movie's called Sisters. You already knew that. You clicked the button. You're
Yeah.
not listening to this without clicking the button, you fucking asshole.
You total bucket of shit.
Oh, you second wave feminist something or other.
Yes, this is some may say that this is a commentary on the horrors of the women's liberation movement as seen through the lens of one Mr. Brian De Palma, a terrible person.
A terrible person. What if the guy who would make Scarface told us what he thought about gender and a little bit about race?
Oh boy, this movie is full of stuff.
What could go wrong?
The movie stars the lovely and wonderful and sadly no longer with us Margot Kidder, who you may know from, well, Black Christmas, the original. She was in Superman. She was in everything, basically.
Yeah. The Amityville Horror.
The Amityville Horror, of course. I love Margot Kidder. She's awesome. She's terrible in this movie, and I still love her. Also, the movie also stars Margot Kidder, who is a Canadian actress who, well, you can look her up. Anyways, it also stars a one Mr. Charles Durning, a character actor who I'm also a fan of, who looks bizarrely young in this film.
Yeah.
And then the really, really creepy guy that plays the husband, the ex-husband of the first Margot Kid character. I don't know his name. I didn't even bother to look it up. But his character's name is Emile.
Oh, you're talking about William Finley, who we last saw in The Funhouse?
Yes, that's right. Oh my god. Yes, the amazing and extremely creepy-looking William Finley.
Oh man, never has a man's head looked so wet.
Oh my god, this movie is this is one of those movies that is so of its time, and it's kind of cool to see just because you get to see Staten Island in 1972, or you get to see weird shit like that. At the same time, it's extremely problematic, and it is very reflective of some of the real serious problems that Brian De Palma has with women. Uh,
ooh-wee, ouch.
Man, that's something. We will definitely be getting to that. There's a lot to discuss in this film. As bad as it was, I did enjoy it. I liked the way it got really kind of surreal and goofy at the end, which is very much a trope nowadays in film, but it was, I guess, kind of a relatively new concept in movies at the time, so he didn't have anybody to fully rip off for those scenes, so they look kind of cool because it's his own interpretation of the way they should look. It's got the typical Brian De Palma split screen as seen in Carrie. Him
I
kind
think
of playing
this might
around.
have been. I think this was the one where he was like developing it, or
Yeah,
like
I think
this
so.
early stage Brian. Like this whole thing is early stage Brian De Palma, like before he really got into his, his or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it took him a few movies. I mean, Carrie is a fine film, but it took him a while to really kind of define a certain that is associated with Brian De Palma.
Yeah, he didn't really get that finish wapi all distilled until Mission to Mars.
Finish wapi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man! Wow.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Also in this movie, uncredited, an early role for none other than, I believe, a vice presidential candidate Olympia Dukakis.
Oh my God! That was her? Jesus,
Yes.
Lord. Interesting. Yeah, that was her. She was bizarrely young and worked in a bakery in the movie, anyway.
In the movie, yes. Yeah. And also Jennifer Salt. She would go on to be in, or was already in, Midnight Cowboy, and then became an executive producer for American Horror Story.
Yeah, exactly. She won. I believe she won an Emmy for an episode of. Oh God, I forget the show, but she did some writing for a bunch of TV shows and Nip and Tuck. I think it was.
Nip and Tuck: The Adventures of Nip and Tuck. Yes,
that's correct. She's still with us. She's 80 years old. The rest of those folks are probably dead.
Many a dead person in this film, including Bernard Hughes from Tron and the guy who played Grandpa in The Lost Boys.
Speaking of people named Bernard.
Oh, yeah.
Bernard Herrmann. Bernard Herrmann did the very reminiscent at times of Psycho soundtrack, probably because he did the Psycho soundtrack. This one was oddly reminiscent of it because he wrote both of them.
Nice.
Didn't come out very well, but yeah.
I mean, the soundtrack is like really something in this movie.
It's a bit formal. It doesn't have the gotcha sound in it, so it's not particularly memorable. But if you listen to it knowing that he wrote it, it makes sense. I mean, it does have that kind of, dramatic flair that he brings to his soundtrack.
Yeah, it has that little
it's definitely what sets Bernard Herrmann apart. If you read the American Film Institute's biography of him, they describe how his soundtracks have a certain indescribable Palchcockian.
It's funny because when you started that, I did not know that you were going there with it. I was like, oh, this is going to be a cool little fact.
Oh, AFI? So stupid.
Good. Who should watch this movie, John, and what mood should they be in whence they watch it? Or from whence?
Yeah. Old people who don't like women would definitely enjoy this.
That's true.
Racists. This would be a fine film to watch if you're a racist.
Yeah.
if you don't have any issues whatsoever with mental illness, this film will be fine for you. It won't bother you at all.
Right up at the top.
Yeah. People who love Alfred Hitchcock so much that they'll watch anything informed by his work.
People are like, the only thing bad about Alfred Hitchcock is that he didn't make more cheaper movies.
The only thing bad about it, Alfred Hitchcock, is that he inspired people to make movies like this.
My biggest problem with Alfred Hitchcock was that he wasn't quite sexist enough.
I know, Jesus Christ. You know the stories about how he tormented Tippi Hedren while they were making The Birds? Well, imagine that times 1,000,000 on meth, and you've got Brian De Palma.
Yeah, just fucking throwing birds at your actors. What the fuck, Alfred Hitchcock?
What a knob that guy was.
Oh my god. Yeah, also cops, if you are a cop and you think cops are doing the right thing and that most people are just problems for cops, or if you just love cops, this is probably a good one for you.
Yeah.
Also, if you are a fan of vintage binoculars, this one's gonna be right up your wang hole.
That's true. If you are extremely nosy and love to spy on people a lot, this movie will really, really tickle your pacalaqua. What the hell?
Good. We're making up reasons to laugh because this movie might be a bit short on reasons to laugh.
Oh my god.
There's like one scene where a guy falls down and it's funny, and the rest of the time there is nothing to giggle about.
Oh my god. I would argue that there's a lot to giggle about in this movie.
That's true. That's true. Boobs.
The barrel of cleaning solution with the green lid on it, that was weird.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I will say, one thing that I found very informative and enlightening was Brian De Palma's negative feelings about early 1970s game shows.
It is a remarkable opening that sadly does not live up to the rest of the film.
No, but I was like, man, he had to have fun designing that set too. Like, they even have like keys. Like, that was great. And then everything was just kind of like nosedives from there, except for the acting kind of kicks ass. Also, Jennifer Salt's hair is just a remarkable piece of something.
It's amazing. It's some sort of weird, like, 70s short hairstyle, like bonnet style haircut where it's all choppy and layered, but then in the back it's a normal shoulder length haircut. It's a combo, like a combo mullet or something.
Oh yeah. It looks like a pixie haircut is projectile vomiting out of the back of her head.
It looks like she's wearing a hedgehog on top of her head, and that hedgehog is wearing a skirt.
Yeah, I've never seen a cape of hair quite like this one.
It's quite remarkable.
Oh, all right. Anything else we need to do before you completely ruin every single thing about this movie, John?
No, I can't think of anything. I'm just going to give a brief pass through. It'll be pretty vague, but
yeah, then we'll pick apart the little chicken bones of the movie.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We basically whoa. We start the movie watching a fake TV program named Peep Show, which is a game show, kind of like a Candid Camera type game show where the audience is shown, or the contestants are shown some sort of really uncomfortable peeping Tom situation, and then they have to select out from 3 choices what phrase would most, accurately describe their perception of what is going to happen, or something like that, or how it's going to go down or whatever. So it's the for this particular episode of Peep Show, it's Margot Kidder wearing dark glasses and pretending to be blind in a dressing room in her bra, standing there staring off into the distance, while some creepy black guy, make of that what you will, is standing in the shadows watching her. And then they pause that, and the host is like, "No, folks," and it's super like just sarcastic and extremely dark. It's really fucked up. So basically, from that we discover that the woman that is playing the blind lady in the sketch is Margot Kidder's character, and she the black guy gets she gets an award. Who the hell got the award? He gets the award for being on the show, like a gift. No,
they both do.
That's right. She gets she gets an amputee kit referred to as cutlery. And Philip, by the way, her name is, she's not Dominique, she's the other one.
She's Danielle.
Danielle, that's right. So she's Danielle. Danielle gets a lovely cutlery set for her work on Peep Show. And Philip, the African-American gentleman, is given a free gift certificate to eat at, I forget the name of the restaurant.
John, that would be the Africa Room.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's right. A gift certificate to eat dinner at the Africa Room, which turns out to be a soul food restaurant run by black people who are walking around wearing hay skirts and they might as well just be carrying spears. It is so, and just to make sure we know where we are when we transition to the Africa Room, we get a shot of a really badly made gorilla. Just in case you didn't get where De Palma was going with this. Wow.
It's imagine Rainforest Cafe, but really racist.
That's what I thought. I mean, how could you not with that horrible gorilla face? Oh my God.
Man.
So Danielle basically gloms her way on to, his trip to the Africa Room. And so they go there to eat, and then I very quickly and painfully realize she will be speaking in a terrible French accent for the remainder of the film. It's so bad. So they're hanging out, they're having, she's completely drunk and acting like a total idiot. And then this weird guy shows up who turns out to be her ex-husband, and he's all like, "Oh, Danielle, you must come home now, as now is the time for you to return to your home." And Philip, her guest at the table, calls over the possibly most racist depiction of a person in any film ever made, the black guy wearing the grass skirt with his shirt off, and I believe he was wearing a top hat on top of that. And he was like, "Hey man, why don't you get your ass out of here, motherfucker?" It was just it was so racist. Oh my God. So they throw him out on his ass, and then Margot goes home with Philip because they're going to have a little hanky-panky. They get back to her apartment, and she's basically like, "I will go back here and throw all my clothing along the way and flash my boobies before I walk off screen." And then she does that, and then, oh God, what happens after that? I mean, it just gets weirder and weirder. They discover...
He starts peeping Tomming again. He looks out the window and sees a hot neighbor lighting a cigarette, and he's like, "Well, I guess I'll watch this while I wait for her to do whatever ladies do while I wait."
Gotta keep the rascal involved. And then as he's peeping, he spots her former husband down on the street, who is also peeping up at Philip. So we have two people peeping at one another, and
it's a peep off.
Then he talks to her. They start to kind of nail weed, but it doesn't really work out because this clown is down there, and so Philip comes up with this fantastic plan. I mean, it's a great plan. He's going to leave, go out the back door, drive around the block, and come back. And by then, this guy will have left or something. I don't really understand the plan. It didn't make any sense. So he leaves and comes back, and they fuck. And then in the morning, oh, and by the way, when he's putting his shirt back on after they've fucked in the bathroom, he knocks her crucially important red pills into the sink, which she's left on the side of the sink, so that we know that very soon those will get knocked down the sink. It was so obvious. And then now her important medicine is gone, and he overhears her getting into a verbal altercation with another lady, who just, happens to have a French accent or whatever, and has the exact same voice. That's fine.
Yeah.
So then she basically tells him that, her sister's a loon, and blah, 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 and can you please go to the pharmacy to get my medication? So, and it's their birthday. And
that they're twins, and it's their birthday.
They're twins. It's their birthday. Please get my drugs. So he goes to the pharmacy, gets her drugs, and stops off at a bakery on his way. And two really bitchy white ladies work there, one of which being Olympia Dukakis. And he wants to get a birthday cake for both ladies because he's a gentleman. And he wants it decorated to, he basically wants the works of Shakespeare written on the fucking cake. And the lady's like, sorry, pal, our decorator's not here today, so you're just going to have to take it as it is, or whatever. And he's like, I really need to have the words on here. I just need it to say, happy birthday, Danielle Dominique, from Philip, your dear friend, who may have spent the night, but don't read too much into it. I know that we just met and had a little soiree at the Africa Room, but if you could just get all that on the cake. And so
that'd be neat.
Yeah, so he helps the lady, guides her hand with the fluting thing or whatever they call it, so she can decorate the cake, which must have taken 10 hours, and it looks terrible.
It does.
And so he shows up. He's really proud of himself. He sees Danielle sleeping on the fold-out couch. There's this whole back and forth thing about, I will sleep on the couch so I don't bother you, Dominique, and all this bullshit. So anyways, Danielle's sleeping on the couch. He opens the box to the cake, puts the box in the trash, very clearly wants us to notice that the box is there. Pulls out the largest knife I think I may have ever seen in my entire life. Takes it, slides it under the cake, and brings it over to Danielle and like sets it down on the bed right by her head, wakes her up, and she, without even looking, reaches up and just grabs the knife, because apparently she just magically knew it was there, and then freaks the fuck out and stabs him in the, she stabs him in the leg, then she stabs him in the mouth, which is disgusting, and then he bleeds that weird paint blood that they loved to use back in the 60s and 70s.
The best.
It's kind of upsetting, actually, when you see the shadow of him getting stabbed in the mouth. So he ends up on the floor. It's one of these goofy apartments that's like everything's white, basically, so his blood stands out. He's bleeding like crazy. She takes off. I don't remember where she fucks off to the back or something. And basically, this guy's dying, but before he dies, he gets over to the window, and he tries to write help on the window in blood. And while this is happening, a really nosy neighbor, who also happens to be an investigative reporter for the Staten Island newspaper that no one cares about, is seeing all this and is like, oh my God, I must call the police that I've called pigs in all my articles. And they don't want to come out because it's her. And they eventually come out. In the meantime, Emil shows up, comes across this horror scene, and stuffs Philip's body under the cushions in the fold-up couch. That's perfectly normal. Cleans the apartment, and we are now looking at a split-screen situation where Grace is like bitching back and forth with the police, and they're coming up to the apartment arguing. And while these things are happening on the other side of the screen, we see Emil cleaning the apartment. Emil, by the way, really missed his calling to be a crime scene cleaner.
Oh man, he already had all the chemicals.
It was amazing. He got everything up except a little blotch on the back of the couch, which no one saw. So glad you saw that. And then, oh my God, this movie is so weird. So the cops go through the whole apartment with this lady Grace, the reporter. They don't find anything. Danielle is acting like, well, this Grace lady, you know what I'm talking about? She's nuts. And so, they don't find anything. Grace is snooping around trying to find some kind of sign. She finds the cake box and makes a mental note of the bakery. And then what the hell happens after that? They fuck off out of there. They tell her she's crazy. She brings them
the cake.
Yeah, that's right. She brings them the cake because it says "Happy Birthday, Danielle and Dominique," and then the cake falls on the cop's foot and completely obscures the writing. So now they're just convinced that she's crazy. So they all leave. It's ridiculous. And then what happens? She convinces her boss to let her do the story, but he insists on hiring a private investigator to do all the legwork. That private investigator turns out to be faux window washer in disguise, Charles Durning.
I love his disguises. Yeah, and in this one he plays Larch.
Larch, that's right, Larch, the private investigator. So she's in the van with him, and she's basically trying to tell him how to do his job because she's a feminist, and feminists are really annoying. And, he's like, hey, lady, you need to shut the fuck up because I went to private investigator school, so I think I know what I'm doing. So they work out this ridiculous, like, Tom and Jerry routine where he's going to go try to find evidence, and she's going to be his spotter, a peeping spotter from the window. And so, what's the deal? He gets into the apartment, but then...
It is the most boring scene I've ever seen. Yeah.
That's right. The moving crew shows up to take the body-laden couch out of there. And so he's like, hiding out in the rooms. And he every once in a while he sticks his head out of the window and he's like, I don't. And then he goes to the next window. It's so ridiculous. Then they come walking out. They walk out with the couch. And he casually walks out carrying a lamp as if the moving people are going to think that he's with them. Yeah. And then he makes a beeline, like buzzes quick to the van before they realize that they don't know who the fuck he is. Yeah. So he stole a lamp, which didn't really amount to anything. He just stole a lamp.
Nope.
Okay,
it's fine.
That's fine. He wanted a lamp. So they follow them for a while. He basically says he's going to follow them no matter where they go. They're going to Quebec in this case to probably dispose of the body. So he's going to follow them there. In the meantime, she has some sort of fucking lunch date with her mom or something. That goes very poorly. And then they stop off at the bakery and she finds out some pertinent information about the African-American gentleman who came in to have the cake decorated. So the plot is thin and thickening.
And it doesn't even add to the plot that she goes there because she already saw the names on the cake and it said Danielle and Dominique, and then she went to the bakery and she found out that, oh yeah, we did write the names Danielle and Dominique on top of the cake, and then she was like, okay, bye. What the fuck, Brian De Palma? Make a movie!
I think that was his way of saying that she was already beginning to doubt her own sanity, so she needed proof. I guess. I don't know. Maybe she was looking for... I don't know what the fuck. It didn't really matter. It was stupid.
Yeah.
But basically, in the meantime, I know I'm leaving stuff out, but whatever. Emile takes Danielle to this ridiculous institute. It's this... When Grace is driving with her mom explains to her that there's this new experimental mental institute on Staten Island that, lets people leave of their own reconnaissance and just come back whenever they feel like it, even though they're completely out of their fucking skull. What could go wrong, blah, 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 all this shit. So, I don't remember what she says. They find out about the twins, right? Like, through Larch.
Yeah.
Doesn't he get he has the file on the twins?
She goes to like some professor dude who has
yeah.
He shows her a video of like a documentary piece about the twins, and it's archival footage, and it's real dumb.
Isn't he the guy? This is going to be a stretch. Just hang with me. Is this the guy that plays the man in Chico and the Man? Is that the same actor?
It's possible. This is Bernard Hughes. This is the guy from Tron and the Lost Boys. So I wouldn't put it past him. I know he has over 100 acting credits. So
yeah,
that could be one of them.
He's like Durning. I mean, he's one of those guys you see in everything. But he's but Durning was actually most people know him by name. But anyways, yeah. So she gets a hold of the file on Danielle and her sister Dominique, and it says, I forget what all it says in there, that they had to separate them, and Dominique died in the procedure because Danielle was pregnant, and so they had to separate them or some bullshit. I don't know. It's a bunch of hocus pocus.
Oh, whoa. Watch your language.
Oh, man. So basically she's getting some background story, and then I don't remember how. Does she? Oh, she goes to the place. That's what it is. She goes to the place. She
follows them by automobile, yeah.
That's right. And she ends up at this place. It's like a big house. And she's peeping, of course. And
of course.
Watching the doctor, try. He's got he's got Danielle with him. And I think he gives her a shot or something. I don't remember. But
yeah, I think he's drugging her.
So she's peeking through the window, and you hear this snip, snip, and she turns around, and one of the, I don't know what you call them, patients, I guess, is clipping the hedges, but not actually clipping the hedges, because people with mental illness are really funny.
He says that he's got work to do, and then she's like, "Do you live here?" And he says, "That's what they tell me."
That's right. She says, "Do you mind if I use your phone?" No. And then she goes inside, and he points the clippers and goes, "Snip." It's so weird. So she just strolls into this place. This woman with a can of Lysol and a rag encounters her, and we find out very quickly that this woman is completely out of her fucking skull. She's a germaphobe, but very badly so. So she won't let her use the phone. She wants to use the phone, but the lady just starts screaming, which draws the attention. What's that?
Oh, it's because germs can come through the phone.
That's right. Germs can come through the phone lines. Through the wires, right? Doesn't she say that?
Yes, through the wires.
So one of the main guys in the place, I guess, I don't know, shows up because of the commotion, and she demands Danielle demands to speak to the head of the place or whatever the fuck, and she wants to call the police and whatever. So then he uses the phone to call the head of the hospital. Oh my God, which of course is Emil. And Emil immediately takes advantage of this situation by telling the other dude, "Oh, this is," I don't remember what her name was, Margaret or something. "This is so-and-so. She checked herself in yesterday." And she's like, "No, you jackass, my name is Grace." And he's like, if she wants you to call her Grace, just go ahead and call her Grace for now. We'll worry about that later. So, of course, then like Nurse Ratched comes in, grabs her, and they stick a needle in her and get her completely doped up, and she ends up in bed next to Danielle.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get, we end up in this black and white flashback to something that never happened scene, where she's basically seeing what happened to Dominique and Danielle, except she is now Dominique.
Oh, yeah.
Which, okay. It was kind of awesome and also really stupid. Yes. So we see them. So basically, what we find out is that Dominique is nuts, like legitimately nuts. Danielle, she's okay, but Dominique's a real problem. And whenever Danielle has any opportunity to get close to anybody, Dominique becomes a psychopath, like a murderous psychopath. So the doctor, wanting to bone Danielle, dopes Dominique whenever he wants to bone Danielle, and he ends up knocking her up. Well, now she's pregnant, and it's one of them is going to die or something like that. So, of course, they are going to kill Dominique. So they're going to separate them with apparently a butcher knife. So they go to the operating room. They have the little place where the incision's going to be made, whatever. They separate them. Great. The baby dies. Now, she gets stabbed in the gut at some point. I don't know.
So I think part of it is
she gets stabbed.
Grace is
sorry.
It's Grace is putting it together in her head, like putting the pieces together in her own like dream state, but filling in the blanks with what she has. So like one of the people in the rooms is Larch, who hands a meal, like one of the cutlery pieces, but the other cutlery piece, like the butcher's cleaver.
That's right.
And that's what they use to separate them.
And the box with the cutlery is underwater for some reason, which made no sense.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think she even noticed the box of cutlery. This wasn't... What? It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's really weird. So basically she... I don't know. So she wakes up, right? And she loses her fucking mind. Because it's a bad situation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then, let's see, Emil ends up, is it with her? He's with her and he's gonna do something. He's gonna kill her or some shit like that, but she grabs a scalpel and cuts him in the dick to death.
Yeah, so he's talking to Margot Kidder, who he thinks is Danielle, and he's explaining the sitch to her. He's like, your sister's been dead, but this is her now.
That's right.
And you did a thing. What did the thing you do was? And then she was like, well, what I did was this. And then she grabs a scalpel off the table while he's doing smooches on her.
That's right.
And then she stabs him in the leg the way that she had stabbed the dude in the leg at the beginning, but then not stab him in the mouth. And then he bleeds to death while trying to keep groping her boobs.
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh, that's right. Oh my god, I forgot about that whole bit where he's like sitting there talking to her about them and her sister and all this, and the whole time he's doing it, we get endless close-up shots of his hand squeezing her boob for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where, like, you would, like, rub someone on the shoulder or on the back. You're, like, talking to them soothingly and comforting, but instead he's giving her a Columbus, Ohio squeeze job, and it's just real unpleasant.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. So, okay, so that's great. So, I don't even remember what fucking happens after this. He dies. She gets out of there.
Yeah, and then the other one, Grace also, like, as soon as he's dead, the mental fog of the drugs wears off, and she is also out of there, and then the cops show up and arrest Danielle?
Do they arrest Danielle? And then yeah, and you think it's over, but no, it's not. And then Grace goes back to her place. And
yeah, Grace's parents are already there. Like, they got there quicker than the police.
Yeah, so she reunites with this wonderful reunitification with her parents, whatever.
Yeah.
That part's, you think it's over, but oh no, there's more. We see a railroad track with a couch in front of it, with a sheet over the couch, and a cow just standing there looking at the camera. It's an overhead shot. It makes no fucking sense, but it's kind of awesome. And then the camera starts panning back, and as it pans back, we see some guy up a light pole, his leg, and then it pans further back, and it's Larch, who's watching all of this with binoculars.
He's pretending to be a lineman so he can spy on the couch. Honestly, my favorite part of this whole movie.
Oh, a great ending. Made no fucking sense, but it was great. I guess the implication is that Larch is gonna find the body. Like, it doesn't even matter at this point. Like, the bad guy's been killed, and it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what a
I don't
ridiculous
know.
movie!
You did miss a spot in there, though, because also the cops come back to Grace and apologize for not believing her, but because Emil brainwashed her with drugs, she now insists that there was no murder, and the cops are mad at her, and they're like, look, miss, I don't know what game you're playing, but I already apologized for not believing you. Now just tell us the thing about the body. And she's like, what body? There was no murder.
Oh my
And
God.
then we go to Larch, who is overlooking the I guess it's a train depot. So someone they loaded the couch with a dead body in it onto a train. Then someone in Canada unloaded the couch at the train depot next to a cow, and then just left it there. So no one is ever going to smell this body decomposing in the couch. It just lives there now. And Larch will be there on that pole until no one ever finds it.
Oh my god. It's so fucking stupid.
Fiend.
I guess unbelievable. I guess the part where she's talking to the cops and she clearly doesn't remember that there was an actual murder. Is that supposed to set us up for the trick ending with the cow couch? Who cares if she doesn't remember or does? It doesn't matter.
Well, you see, John, I think something about ladies, that's all I got.
Yeah.
You know?
So when you're done, like if you didn't think too much about what you were watching, which, I mean, that'd be kind of hard to do with because all the messages are pretty deep, but I mean, they're not deep, but they're pretty overt. But if, let's say, you just didn't ponder on any of the thematic intention, after the movie's over, you probably would be like, oh, okay, well, that was a little riff on Hitchcock, with a little modern 70s twist thrown in with some boobage and, extra violence. That's cool.
Yeah.
This was pretty interesting. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This movie was obsessed with voyeurism. Twins, identical twins, which are everywhere in the movie, the women's propensity towards hysteria, racism. I mean, it's just like, what the fuck did I just watch? What was that?
What was that?
I mean, Hitchcock, had a horrible view of women too. He didn't necessarily make that the theme of his fucking movies.
No.
I mean, De Palma just goes for it. He's just like, fuck this. I'm taking my balls out and writing this screenplay.
Man, yeah, because it's all about like women like are drug dependent. So Danielle becomes crazy the very instant she doesn't take her pills. It's almost as if the act of taking the pills out of the bottle and then not swallowing them just immediately summons Dominique into her brain. There's also then reference whenever Grace is talking to her mom is like, oh, you're not taking those diet pills again, are you? And then at the end, we've got this thing with the cops where she doesn't remember the murder because the doctor drugged her. It's all just like women are, I don't know. Even the beginning, whenever they're the audience at the fucking game show is like men looking like yeah, and women who are just like, oh, isn't this delightful? Finally, a chance for me to wear my hat.
God, it was just like, whew, and he must have felt deeply offended or deeply threatened by the women's liberation movement, because that is a big part of this movie. You can't separate it from the movie. It is the movie. It's really strange.
Yeah, and the Emil basically commits murder by a mission by letting a guy go into a room with a murder woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that part of the thing was that he was bringing the medicine to Danielle for her to take, but on purpose delayed delivery of the medicine to her so that she would murder the black dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the same guy who, of course, made Dress to Kill.
Ooh.
About a spoiler alert, a murderer, which is a man in drag, essentially.
Ooh.
A great film, but problematic. I'm trying to think of some of what was that other one he made, that other 80s obsessive thriller where the guy is like a peeping guy, where he's peeping on some woman in the Hollywood Hills, and he witnesses a murder, and he injects himself into the scenario because he's attracted to this woman, and he's going to be the savior and all this stuff. Of course, he's a dude.
Dang, I don't know.
That was
I'll look it up.
Yeah, he's I mean, he's also done other just kind of straightforward stuff like The Untouchables and but
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, he did the remake of Blowout with John Travolta. Very peepish, very peepy. He made
what a peepee.
Yeah, I mean, so no, I mean, an undoubtedly very talented director, but also a very troubled director. I mean, we didn't get into like the details about his life. Max has a documentary, a biodoc about him. I think we've talked about this before, but that really goes into the story of his life and a lot of the problems that De Palma has, and a lot of the problems that people had with Brian De Palma. But when you're as talented as he is, and you make the kind of money that some of these movies made, Hollywood doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, I think the movie you were talking about was Body Double.
Oh, Body Double, yeah. I like that movie, but I mean, it's complete garbage. But it's just a goofy thriller, and he has a certain visual style that he really develops over the course of his films, and then kind of abandons later with some of the later movies. But like even in The Untouchables, which is pretty much just a Hollywood blockbuster, there's that infamous scene where the baby carriage is pushed down the stairs in slow-mo, and there's that big shootout on the stair. I mean, it's very, like, as they say, operatic violence. That's something that he's known for.
He loves.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's an interesting person to study, but God forbid if you watch his movies and think, wow, I really resonate with this, except maybe Carrie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, Carrie, she's Jesus Christ. I mean, we talked that one to death too, but yeah. He's what a dude. Jesus.
I know, yeah. I mean, but you touched on something that's very important that we've been kind of skipping over because of the troublesomeness of this movie, but this movie is strikingly visual. Like, it is wild to look at. Like, at no point are you visually bored. It's constantly going. Things are constantly moving. It doesn't make sense. But it is immaculately shot. Sometimes perhaps a little bit too frenetic.
Yeah.
But man, it is all there. It's in your face. But like I said, it just doesn't make sense. There's the scene where he falls down and hits his head, and then for the rest of the movie, he has a big purple splotch on his forehead for no reason. And then she won the cutlery set for the game show, but like, if she hadn't have won that cutlery set and she just had a knife, that would have been fine too.
It would have had no bearing on the film whatsoever.
Yeah, and if he hadn't won tickets to the African room, I guess there it was just...
That's just pure racism.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I think it was just pure cultural insensitivity. Racism in the guise of cultural insensitivity. I think in his mind, he thought it would be funny. It would be taken as funny.
I think it was a Brian De Palma, a chuckle for Brian De Palma. The African room, get it?
because it wasn't, we didn't get the joke already when the black man was spying on the woman undressing. I did, at least the resolution in that scene was that he actually walks away, whereas the contestants, both, of course, white people, both, of course, guess that he's going to stay and watch the whole situation.
Yeah.
But, yeah, wow. It's a unique film. It's definitely a unique film.
Yeah. It was a solid pick, too. Like, this was a good pick for you. Because, especially, we haven't really brought into it, but Basket Case, hello?
Yeah, this movie, no shit. Where were these men's heads back then, for fuck's sake? Jesus. I mean, men are just, they're just every bit as bad as we're told they are.
Yeah. Yep.
Whew. Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, Basket Case, like, obviously, what's his name? Bruce Hammercock? I don't remember. What's
Bruce Hammercock.
What's his name? The fucking Basket Case dude?
Oh, the director?
Henenlotter.
Oh, Henenlotter.
Yeah, Frank Henenlotter. Yeah. I mean, he obviously watched this movie and was like, "Ooh, I have an idea."
Yeah. Let me call my other friend with a weird name, Brian Hentenrick.
Yeah.
Was it Brian Hentenrick? I don't know.
Yeah, Brian Van Hentenrick.
Oh, man, that makes it even better.
Of the Abbotsfordshire Van Hentenricks.
Oh, damn.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. But yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like you said, that mouth stab, that was real good.
That was cool.
And then he's got that little flappy lip stuff makeup on, just for a quick shot. I was like, wow, yeah, that kicks ass.
This movie has developed, quite a bit of a cult following, and I understand why. I mean, it's one of the things that, if you can manage to put a lot of the problematic elements of De Palma aside, and if you can't, totally understand. But if you can, there is an entertaining, very strange, unique film that definitely has a place in, for sure in horror cinema, but I mean, has a place in American film in general. I mean, it's one of the starting points to, one of the most well-known American directors from that era. So, I mean, it's definitely something that if you can get past, and I don't mean get past like it's okay, but if you can tolerate what you're going to see, then I mean, there's worse movies out there, for fuck's sake, Jesus. But but yeah, it was interesting. I think it worked as far as something for us to talk about. Yeah, if I had seen it, I bet if I had seen it first, I still would have wanted to talk about it because it was so ridiculous. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it's great to talk about. It has its troubles as a human, but it also has troubles in the story that it's telling. Like, it doesn't make sense.
No.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
We love talking about movies that don't make sense.
We certainly do, because we do it all the time.
Yeah. And this one makes some of the least sense of any movie we've seen.
It really does. I mean, you have to kind of connect the dots, and then, sometimes there's just not enough dots.
Yeah. Insufficient dots.
Yeah.
Just like Brian De Palma's Scantron test. That's a good joke, right?
Oh my god. Oh, we're bad. We're terrible people.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So, what? In the world of horror or entertainment media, what have you absorbed since we last spoke?
Well, John, not nearly enough, because for the last week, the Monday after our last episode dropped, I answered a surprise jury summons, and then got selected for jury duty, which lasted the entire 5-day week.
Oh my god, that's my worst nightmare. I- I've been like in the pool. I was in the Enron jury pool.
My God, that would have been cool though.
I know. I didn't even go to the courthouse. They sent out, they obviously sent out a million questionnaires. And I work in a bookstore, and it had a conversation with the woman who literally wrote the book from the point of view of the whistleblower. So I was pretty much ruled out on that.
Nice.
She came into the bookstore, and we talked about the situation, like the book, the case, and everything. It was really a cool conversation, and it got me out of that jury. But
hell yeah,
that would have been a fun jury to be on, actually. I think. But
that you get the inside deets that aren't for civilians. Hell yeah, that'd be good.
I almost got selected for a capital murder one, but I didn't want to miss all the work, and so I gave like every time they asked any question that would dismiss you, I raised my hand. Like, is anyone here an axe murderer? Like, whoop.
That's me.
That's me. I asked. I answered. I raised my hand so many times that one of the attorneys said, "We got you, sir. We're good." He knew I was trying to get out of it.
Yeah. No, there was a lady sitting directly in front of me where, like, eventually they're like, all right, other than voir dire juror number 7, has anyone in here?
It was great. Does anyone here have a problem with the police? Hand up. We got you, sir.
Yes. Well, I will say Harris County pays jurors better now than they used to. It's like $38 for the first day and $50 for each subsequent day, which is way better than the $6 and like for the first day and $12 each day after that, or whatever it used to be. So
yeah, that's
like,
dramatically better. Yeah, it's not good, but I mean, it's not quite an insult, at least not on our shitty rates of pay.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not a slap of the taint anymore.
Oh, plume de ma taint.
But I did manage to watch one horror movie, and that was Psycho. And I watched it before watching this because we'd been talking about Senior, whatever his nuts is, his dad being the Psycho guy.
Oh, Tony Perkins.
Yeah,
Perkins. Yeah. Had you never seen Psycho before?
I watched it once a very long time ago, and so and Melanie had never seen it, and so we watched it, and man, it's really good until it turns into a complete pile of shit, and then it gets really good at the end again.
Yeah. It has a little lull there, but overall, a fucking great movie.
Amazing, yeah. And so then going from watching that to watching this, I was like, oh yeah, there's the little psychos. Yeah, oh, the knife, the
eyeball.
Yeah, like, it's all there. Great stuff. So yeah, highly recommend watching 2/3 of Psycho.
Correct. Take a huge shit about 2/3 of the way in, or 3/4, whatever. Cut out that little chunk.
Yeah, and then like and there's this horrible scene towards the end where some putz is in a room full of putzes explaining what he figured out about the situation, and all of these putzes are like, yeah, that's a real good theory you got there, guy. And it's just the worst
to a halt.
Yeah. And then of course you get, why are any of these people in this movie? We didn't need this. It's just like he's some sort of like weird exposition guy that's got to wrap a bow on everything because Alfred Hitchcock was too busy jerking off. Whoa. Yeah, but that's all I watched. John, what about yourself? What things have you been up to?
Well, I had another one of those weird 2-week periods where I basically watched everything.
Hell yes.
I watched It's What's Inside, the movie on Shudder about I think I mentioned that last time, didn't I? It's What's Inside. The people switching the identities. Isn't
yes.
Yeah.
No, you didn't mention it. You texted me about it.
That's what it was. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was pretty good. I watched the Anna Kendrick made film on Netflix called Woman of the Hour, which is about the woman that went on the game show, the Newlywed Show, not Newlywed Show, the dating game, and true story. And then one of the three bachelors or whatever, was Rodney Alcala, a serial killer.
Nice.
She picked him, met him backstage, and was so creeped out by him that she ended up not going on the date with him. And in the meantime, this guy had already been convicted of child sex stuff, and they didn't vet their people on this show. So anyways, Anna Kendrick made a movie about it, and she plays the woman. It's
nice.
It's a piece of shit, but, it was okay.
Nice.
I watched
Oh, that sucks.
I watched Apartment 7A, which is the prequel to Rosemary's Baby, with Julia Garner, who has popped up in everything that I've fucking seen for like the last 2 weeks. She's in about 4 or 5 of the things that I've seen, like TV shows. It's just, I like her, but it's like, why is she in everything all of a sudden? Anyways,
all of a sudden,
that movie sucks ass, but she's great in it, and there's some good scenes in it, but it's a bucket of shit. It's just Rosemary's Baby. It's terrible. I watched Scream 6, the second Scream film I've ever watched.
Wow! Whoa! Okay, so did you watch the first Scream?
I went from Scream to Scream 6.
Okay, what a trip!
It was quite a trip. It sucked.
Yeah,
and I wasn't surprised. It was entertaining.
Nice.
It was better. I liked it more than I liked the first one. But I think if I watched the first one now, I'd probably have to admit that it was a much better film. I just hated it.
Was it meta Scream? Like, were they making reference to their own self within the movie?
They made reference to the other Scream movies, how they were like movies. There's a Scream museum in Scream 6 that has like props from all the other movies and stuff. So, I mean, it was kind of clever. It was also really, really bad.
Yeah.
That was, I saw that. I saw the houses that October built, which is the first version of a film that actually got somewhat of a budget and showed up on Shudder, called The House That October Built, which is a fake reality show, fake like documentary reality thing where these people are going around to different haunted houses, and they start hearing stories about the ultimate haunted house. So of course they go, and it's run by psychopaths or whatever. So crazy shit happens. So The Houses That October Built is the original version of that, shot much more cheaply, and I actually thought was really good. I didn't like the full version. I didn't like very much, but I actually thought this was pretty good. That's on Shudder.
Nice.
I watched Azrael with Samara Weaving, which was
I watched that one. Yeah,
post-apocalyptic-ish zombie movie. It was pretty bad.
There was cool parts, but
and I like her a lot, but she was underused in this film. She's a good actor, and she did fine. She didn't do bad. She just didn't have much to work with. But I watched Trap.
Or lines.
Yeah, barely speaks at all. Yeah, she didn't speak at all, did she? Because some stupid. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I watched Shamalama Ding Dong's Trap, which was terrible. But Josh Hartnett was awesome in it. He's entertaining, but that movie was terrible. And then I watched Maxine, which was great.
Oh, how is it?
It was great. It was it's not my favorite of the three, but it's still very good. And then
is it?
Oh,
wait! Back up. All right. So Maxine, is it your second favorite of the three, or would you say that it's better than either of the other two, or is it the lesser of the three?
No, I don't think it's the lesser of the three. I definitely liked X. What the hell was it called? Triple X, X, 5 X's, 10 X's, X. What was the first one called?
I think it was just X.
X, right? Whatever. The first one, that was my favorite one for sure. The second one was okay. Where she's kind of the whole dance competition thing and all that kind of stuff.
Wizard of Oziness.
Yeah, it was okay, but that was my least favorite of the three, I guess. And then So this is my second
Maxine.
favorite, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's good. It's definitely worth watching. I mean, it's by far has the largest production value, and there's a ton of stars in it. I mean, there's Kevin Bacon. There's a bunch of people in this movie.
Whoa.
Kevin Bacon is awesome in this movie too. He's hilarious. Nice. So, anyways, yeah, I watched that, and then to cap it off, I watched all the Alien films.
Oh, nice!
Including both Alien versus Predator films. The only one I haven't watched yet is Romulus. That's next.
Oh, yeah. Well, wait, what about, isn't there... Oh, Romulus is the newest one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I watched 1 through 4, then I watched Prometheus, then Covenant, then AVP Requiem. So that's where I'm at.
Wait, isn't Prometheus 2 out already? Is that not a thing?
It's
yet?
called Covenant.
I don't know.
It's called Covenant.
Ah, I gotcha.
Kind of a return to the, it's not quite as philosophic-y as Prometheus was. I think a lot of people didn't understand Prometheus, so Scott tried to make something that was more, had more kind of, first of all, it had aliens in it, which they weren't in that movie in Prometheus. So, I like both those movies. I don't really care. I thought they were good. Hell, I even enjoyed the Alien versus Predator movies, and they're terrible.
They're terrible, but so much fun.
Oh, they're so fun, man. Everybody kept telling me, oh, you'll like the first one, but the second one's garbage. And I'm like, they're both garbage, and the second one is awesome.
Yeah. That was a marriage made in heaven. They were like, what if we moosh Alien and Predator? Be like, yes, please do moosh, yes.
I think the second one is better because it's so ridiculous. They have a queen alien in like deep freeze that they like bring out when they want to have an in-pyramid hunting competition. It's like,
hell yes.
This is fucking awesome.
So good.
It's so good.
So original Alien and Aliens, which one do you prefer of the two?
Alien 100%.
Yeah,
Aliens,
yeah.
To be fair, Aliens is a terrible film. It's really bad. I like it because I like Cameron. I really do. But man, it's very James Cameron. I mean, the acting is so over the top. Bill Paxton is just awful in it. And that woman that plays Vasquez is a white woman. I didn't know that. Yeah. It's like, dude, Jesus Christ, it's just merciless. But they also have like the monsters in that movie are just so like the ovipositor. It's like, oh my god. No, that wasn't in that one. The ovipositor. That's later.
That's 3, right?
Yeah. That was. Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, but the monsters in it are great. I mean, the action's great, obviously, but my favorite is the first one by far.
Yeah. The first one, nothing will ever beat the first one. I don't think in that franchise. It's just pure goodness.
It's a great film. Period. Like even if it wasn't a horror film, it's just a great film. I like 3, the David Fincher one, but it's a mess. And the Genet one, the 4th one, the Resurrection, I think it's called. Or no, whatever that one's called, with the one with fucking Winona Ryder. That movie is terrible.
Where she has a pale xenomorph baby with a horrible nostril problem?
Yes. I was like, what the fuck is that?
That thing lives in my nightmares.
Why does it look like the ghost from Poltergeist that comes out of the closet? It's so bad. It's like, what the fuck?
Disgusting in the worst possible ways.
And I love that director, but man, he really shit the bed with that movie.
Oh man, that's awesome. Wow, what a great that's a great coverage. Did you like make notes as you were going? Did you like blog it through or anything?
No, I just watched them for my own, amusement,
that's
torture,
fine.
however you want to describe it. I might, I don't know. Nobody reads my blog anyway, so it's like, I don't need to write it for myself because I just watched them, so.
Yeah. Oh, what a great franchise to explore, though. Like, so much goodness and then so much masturbation.
it's so funny because, I mean, it's obviously it's common for a franchise for the first movie to be the best one. That's common. Doesn't always happen, but it's, very common. But the thing that's weird about the Alien franchise is, first of all, there's huge gaps in parts of areas between some of the films. On top of that, the movies just get weirder and weirder. Like, literally weirder and weirder. Each movie is weirder than the one before it, including all the way up to Covenant. And then the, AVP stuff is AVP. That's its own world. But they're weird, too, in their own goofy way. But, and then apparently Romulus ties it all together somehow. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I guess I'm excited. I haven't even built up any excitement to watch it just because I'm used to whatever new Alien thing comes out being garbage.
Well, then I read yesterday that Scott is working on a new Alien film that he said he wasn't going to do. Ooh. Well, he wanted to do it, but the studio didn't want to do it because Covenant was a bomb. So I guess, but he's back now, and I thought it was going to be because Prometheus, Covenant, and there was supposed to be 2 more originally, but then he decided to do 1 more, and then that got nixed. But apparently he's back, but he may not handle that same timeline again. He may do something else completely, so who knows?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one is the one where, like, Cameron Diaz gets rolled over by a spaceship?
Cameron Diaz?
Was it Cameron Diaz? Who was it?
Oh, Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, where she's like running from an enormous spaceship wheel and gets rolled over because she keeps running in a straight line instead of turning left or right.
Why do they do that? They always do that. That's Covenant.
Every movie.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, yeah. That's Covenant. Yeah, that's the one with Danny McBride and Idris Elba. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. There's a xenomorph like on the front of the ship looking at them through the windows.
Bashing the windshield with its head. It's amazing. Yeah. But, you can say what you want about all those movies, but man, AVP Requiem has a scene where the girl wears an alien head for like a piece of armor. There's nothing in any of the movies as cool as that.
No, she's like, it's fine, this isn't full of acid.
And I love how she's chumming it up with the Predator now. They're like, he respects her because she's a good hunter. So they're like the scene of them running down the tunnel in the pyramid in slow-mo, and they're like in silhouette, and there's this light with smoke behind them. I was like, this is the greatest rock video I've ever seen.
Hell yes! Oh my god!
That movie, I don't understand why people don't talk about it like it's some sort of hidden masterpiece, because it's amazing.
Yeah, it is there to have fun, It doesn't even fucking matter, dude.
No, it's so ridiculous. It's like Bishop is there, who from Aliens, but this time he's Wayland from Weyland-Yutani, and he's got lung cancer or something, and they find some pyramid in the Arctic, and so it's like Indiana Jones meets Predator meets Alien. It's just fucking amazing.
Yeah, the best of everything.
I wish they would have made more of those, because those are the best.
Yeah. Oh, I watched those when I was going through all of the Predator movies, and I was like, wow, yeah, this one's good, because there are some others that are real garbage.
I might have to do that, actually, because I haven't seen all the Predator movies. Oh my god.
Oh man, there are some of those.
I've seen a lot, though. I've seen 4 now with the AVP movies, but there's a bunch more, aren't there?
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a minute. I think there's like 5 or 6. I think there were. I have no idea. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, wow. It's fine.
I don't know.
It's an Adrian Brody one.
Oh god. Yeah, I changed my schedule around, so like I'll take a nap when I get home from work, and then I wake up and I'm up super late. Everyone else is asleep, So I'm like, I'm watching this. I'm watching this terrible fucking horror movie.
Well, speaking of terrible fucking horror movies and us watching them, we're not going to be watching one of those. Instead, we're going to be watching kind of a badass horror movie. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see. We're going to put, we're bringing back horror en français. And we're doing that with one David Moreau's Mads. Oh, yes. Have you already watched it, John?
Yeah, we talked about it last time.
Oh, cool. I don't remember.
Either that or we messaged back and forth about it. Either way, I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, it's great. And in thinking back on it, I was like, I think it deserves the full deep dive where we talk about the individual parts of it that are cool and why. So why the hell not? Let's do it. So thus we shall.
That's a fine selection. So if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, you really should watch it because that movie's fucking. That movie takes something so old and boring, zombies, and turns it into something brand new and really interesting.
Yeah. It's the freshest take on zombies that I've seen since 28 Days Later. 28 Days Later, brought it up to a new level, and this one does it too. And it's a special zombie movie, which you don't really get a lot of those.
Train to Busan was pretty good.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Woo, zombies. I love zombies, man. And this one takes it somewhere else. This is a whole different kind of zombie, but man, yeah, Train to Busan was good. Ooh, and World War Z was a pile of shit.
Oh, that movie was so bad. Jesus Christ. That's really bad. Have you seen there's a British zombie TV series that they have on Netflix, I believe. It's called Dead Set, if I remember correctly.
Oh, no, I have not seen that.
It's really good. Surprisingly good. It's extremely dark, but I believe it's called Dead Set, but you should check that out because it's fucking kick-ass.
I will check that out probably as soon as we get off of this podcast because I'm bored and I need something to do with the rest of my Sunday, and it's not gonna be football!
Oh god, no, fuck that.
Well, that's it! So do it! Go watch that movie, Mads, and it's gonna be good. Get your subtitles set to the on position because it's in French, but don't sweat the wee stuff.
And yeah, Jesus Christ, we may actually know who's president by the time this show airs.
Oh yeah. It's so depressing.
I know.
So I've been watching this movie, Sisters, on Plex, which is just full. It's just all political commercials.
Oh,
so
God.
it's just Ted Cruz and Colin Allred saying things about each other the whole time. It was part of why it was so hard to rewatch this movie. Is I was like, please, no, anything but that.
Yeah, I was so glad I had Max to watch this because we get the version with ads, but it's nowhere near as many as Plex.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah, so yeah, this has been a very civic duty era for me. I early voted and juried duty.
I'm going to do my best I'm not going to watch TV all night for the fucking election, which I always do, because it causes me so much distress and anxiety, and it ruins me for months. So I'm just not going to pay attention to any of that shit the best I can. Because it just doesn't, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't affect it. I voted. That's all I can do,
Yeah. No, I used to always. I would stay up all night, watch the election coverage, and then the last time I did that, Donald Trump won. And so for the last one, I was like, no, I'll just find out in the morning. I don't need this in my life.
Yeah, they probably won't know by morning. And he won't concede anyway, whether he wins or loses, so it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah, it's so doom.
Yeah.
Doom!
So go watch an uplifting film about the advancement of society, Mads. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. And
Yeah.
as always, as they say in the American Film Institute, I'm sorry that you remetté plus de fois.
Excellent.
And stop.